Plus, I woke up to the sound of heels on my dock. Sharp, impatient, like someone tapping a pen when the meeting's already over, and found a stranger in a white blazer, waving a letter at my restored cruiser, like it had personally offended her. She called it an eyesore. I called it peace. It was 7 in the morning on a Tuesday, mist lifting off Huckleberry Lake, and this woman, Paige Larrabee, new HOA president, self-appointed guardian of community character, was already promising $200 a day in fines and a lien on my cabin if I didn't remove the vessel from shared waters by Friday. I sipped my coffee, listened to loons echo off the tree line, and said the only thing that came to mind. "Ma'am, you're trespassing." She laughed the way people laugh when they think you don't know the rules. "Grant's already spoken to the city," she said, meaning her husband, who wants a seat on the council so badly he's got yard signs printed for elections that don't exist yet. "We maintain standards. Your boat isn't the look." I looked past her at the mahogany I'd sanded myself, at the chrome cleats I'd hunted down one eBay alert at a time, at a lake that had kept me sane after 25 years of Army logistics and too many nights spent counting pallets in places where you measured peace in hours. "It's a classic," I said. "Runs quieter than your BMW." She held the letter higher. Friday. If you're waiting for me to say I yelled, threw her into the lake, or snapped a selfie for a viral takedown, you'll be disappointed. I've learned something over the years. Bullies love a scene. Bureaucrats love paper. And paper beats scenes every time. My name's Dan Mercer. 51. Retired. I inherited this cabin from my Uncle Raymond, the quiet one in our family, who could turn a garage sale into a museum. I thought he'd left me a view and a leaky roof. Turns out, he left me a puzzle. The first violation came on a Wednesday. Official letterhead. Oversized recreational vessel violates aesthetic guidelines, Covenant 14.7b. I read it twice, then a third time with a pen and sticky tabs. No length limit. No decibel standard. Just aesthetic. The kind of word people use when they want to dress up personal taste in a uniform and give it a badge. I showed up to their emergency HOA meeting anyway. 2 p.m. a weekday classic maneuver, keep the room light and friendly. Their living room looked like a home staging catalog, white leather glass tables, a bowl of lemons no one would ever eat. Paige had a 20-slide deck about my vessel. Low angles to make it look like a cruise ship parked on a pond. She pronounced vessel like she needed a vaccination afterward. "Thank you," I said when she finished. "Impressive work." My old green notebook was on my knee, the same one I'd carried through more briefings than I can count. "Quick question, where's the boat length limit?" I might have missed it. "It's implied," she said, smile tight enough to snap. "Aesthetic standards are clear." "Implied," I repeated, writing it down. "Another question, your husband's dock extension. Does implied cover permits too, or do those require a signature?" Grant coughed. Somewhere in the corner, I heard the soft wheeze of a balloon letting out. From across the room, a neighbor I barely knew. Ruth Ellison's silver hair, the posture of a librarian who could still make seniors sit up, cleared her throat. "Dan," she said, "your uncle kept documents. Basement. Labels on everything. Surveys. Water. Raymond's notes. Might cheer you up on a rainy day." Paige's eyes flicked to Ruth, then back to me. It was a tell. I've played enough bad poker to recognize a good one. By the weekend, the anonymous complaints started. A city inspector named Ortega showed up with a clipboard and the energy of a guy who'd rather be eating cold pizza at his desk than refereeing lake politics. He measured my dock, tugged my bolts, checked my ground fault outlets. "You built this?" he asked. "Fixed it," I said. "Better than code." He glanced at Paige's white SUV idling 3 houses down. I get these calls when someone's mad they can't control someone else, he said quietly. Have a good day, Mr. Mercer. The petition hit next. 7 signatures, most of them the same 5 people who host wine night and complain about the mail carrier's socks. The language was careful until it wasn't transient veteran, with adjustment issues, unsettling presence, unpredictable engine noise. That last one actually made me laugh. My boat idles like a cat, purring on a quilt. I should have been angry. Instead, I got curious. I called my daughter June, a senior at Montana State, who can pull up a property map faster than I can find my reading glasses. Bring your laptop, I said, and Thai food. I'll make coffee. We camped at my kitchen table like we were back at her middle school science fair. By 10, we had tabs open on county tax records, HOA filings, and a Facebook group for responsible lakeside living that was basically a place to complain about wind. June made a face. Dad. Grant's brother owns Larrabee Landscape Services. Guess who's getting HOA maintenance checks 18 grand in 2 years? I whistled. For emergency shoreline improvements, she read, which somehow didn't happen. By midnight, we were in my basement following Uncle Ray's handwriting, like breadcrumbs along the shelves. Lakes General, Huckleberry Deeds, Water Rights. June pulled a manila folder whose tab said, Huckleberry, 1961 to 1979, in careful block letters. Inside were deeds I'd never seen, surveys with a developer's name that meant nothing to me, and a letter that made my scalp tingle. Read that, June said, eyes wide. All waters improvements thereon, and exclusive navigation privileges in perpetuity. I read aloud, then read again, slower. Raymond Mercer, assignee. June slid her laptop closer and overlaid the old survey on the current parcel map. The lines lined up like teeth in a lock. Dad. The shoreline lots stop at the high water mark. The water rights, like the lake bed and the right to use it, were sold off decades ago, lot by lot, to Uncle Ray. Piece by piece. He bought the water. Come on, I said, even as I knew it was true. My uncle, the man who once fixed a toaster with fishing line, had quietly assembled the most important thing on this lake. The next morning, I called a property lawyer. A neighbor recommended Alicia Moreno, the kind of calm you want in a cockpit. She listened, then asked for photos of everything, then called me back at 7:30 the next morning, with an energy I could feel through the phone. Mr. Mercer, she said, your uncle was a visionary. I ran your deeds against the county's chain of title. Huckleberry Lake's bed, the water column navigation rights, your family owns them outright. Not the shoreline lots. The water. The HOA has authority over lawns and paint colors. Not the lake. Say that last part again, I said. Not the lake. I went and sat on my dock, coffee cooling in my hands, and listened to what I'd always thought of as our water, with a new word ringing in my ears, mine. It didn't feel greedy. It felt like stewardship.